The Kraxon delegation stood before the United Earth Council, their crystalline bodies refracting the chamber's light into prismatic patterns across the walls. The lead diplomat, designated First Facet, clicked its geometrical appendages in what humans had learned to recognize as barely contained disgust. "Your species puzzles us," First Facet announced, its translator converting the harmonic vibrations into crisp English. "You claim to seek peace, yet your history brims with conflict. Your literature glorifies war, your entertainment simulates violence, and your children play at combat. We demand proof of your true nature." High Counselor Sarah Chen leaned forward in her chair, her weathered face betraying no emotion. 20 years of diplomatic service had taught her that some species couldn't comprehend humanity's contradictions. The Kraxon, with their rigid crystalline thinking, were perhaps the worst example. "What proof would satisfy you?" she asked, though the glint in her eyes suggested she already knew their answer. "Combat," First Facet resonated, sending ripples through its crystalline form. "One engagement. Your forces against ours. Not to death, we are not barbarians, but to clear victory. Prove to us that you understand the art of conflict as you claim to understand peace." The chamber erupted in murmurs. The other council members shifted uncomfortably, but Chen's slight smile stopped them from speaking. She had expected this. The Kraxon's own history was one of perfect geometric warfare, each battle a precisely calculated equation of force and counterforce. "We accept," Chen declared, rising to her full height. "Name your parameters." The Kraxon delegation vibrated in surprise. They had expected reluctance, negotiation, perhaps even refusal. The immediate acceptance disrupted their carefully planned diplomatic algorithms. 3 solar days hence, First Facet recovered quickly. The neutral space above Europa. Equal numbers, 3 vessels each. Victory through disable or surrender only. Chen nodded once. "Agreed. Though I must ask what happens if we win." "Full diplomatic recognition and trade rights," First Facet responded. "And if we win, you acknowledge your unfitness for galactic society and accept protectorate status." The stakes were clear. Humanity's future as an independent species hung in the balance. Chen maintained her smile as she signed the agreement, even as the Kraxon delegation departed in their geometrically perfect formation. The moment they were gone, Admiral James Okonjo's hologram materialized in the chamber. "They have no idea, do they?" he asked, his Nigerian accent tinged with amusement. "Not a clue," Chen responded. "Deploy the guerrilla group." 3 days later, the Kraxon fleet arrived above Europa in perfect triangular formation. Their ships were masterpieces of crystalline engineering, each one identical, each one optimized for their mathematical approach to warfare. They waited, sensors tuned for the approach of Earth's vessels. They didn't have to wait long. The first human ship appeared exactly where expected, a standard destroyer of the United Earth Navy. The Kraxon vessels adjusted their formation microscopically, achieving optimal firing solutions. Then the second ship appeared not where their calculations predicted, but from behind Europa itself, using the Moon's magnetic field to mask its approach. The Kraxon adjusted again, their tactical computers rapidly recalculating. But where was the third ship? The answer came in the form of a recovered Earth vessel, one that had been declared lost in an asteroid mining accident 6 months ago. It dropped its camouflage field directly above the Kraxon formation, having hidden there long before the challenge was even issued. In the chaos that followed, the Kraxon discovered several uncomfortable truths about human warfare. They learned that humans didn't fight with mathematical precision, but with cunning and deception. They learned that while Kraxon ships were optimized for perfect triangular formations, human vessels were designed to operate independently and unpredictably. Most importantly, they learned that humans hadn't spent their history glorifying war, They had spent it perfecting it, learning from every conflict, adapting to every challenge, and passing those lessons down through generations. The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. Not a single shot proved fatal, but when it was over, all three Kraxan vessels hung powerless in space, their perfect crystalline forms intact, but thoroughly outmaneuvered. Back in the council chamber, Chen watched the holographic replay with First Facet. "You wanted to see our true nature," she said softly. "This is it. We don't love conflict, we've just learned to be very, very good at it. Because the better you are at winning fights, the less often you have to fight them." First Facet's crystalline surface shimmered with new understanding. Your history of conflict. It was not glorification. It was education. Precisely, Chen nodded. Now, shall we discuss those trade agreements? I find negotiations go much smoother when both parties understand each other. The Kraxan delegate's surface rippled in what humans would later learn was their equivalent of laughter. Indeed, though perhaps we should also discuss military advisory exchanges. It seems we have much to learn from each other. As Chen began drafting the new agreements, she couldn't help but smile. The Kraxan had demanded conflict, expecting to find savages or cowards. Instead, they found humans complicated, contradictory, and all the more fascinating for it. They had demanded proof of humanity's nature, and humanity had responded by showing them something they never expected, that understanding conflict was the first step to preserving peace.